Quentin says reasons why it's bad to do homework is because it's associated with high stress levels. Yes. I used to do like 5 hours of homework, I think, in the first grade, and I wouldn't be done before the day ends, and it was terrible. So yeah, homework is terrible. But I do believe that you should have like at least a 30-minute assignment tops, like for a class that you need to do practice in. Like I do believe that. So okay.
Some countries' homework is bad.
Yeah, like I think for me, it's more like it depends on the teacher too. Like I believe you should do homework, but I don't believe like I should give you like 300 hours of homework. I believe in like, here's a 30 minutes tops. Like that's it. And then if you have questions, we can talk about it in class. So I'm that kind of teacher. Look at this cute corgi. What's going on with this corgi right here? Which, by the way, is my favorite dog of all time. I think corgis are the cutest. So tell me what's going on with corgi that's making him do this. Yes, he's in the water, but why is it that face specifically? What are some transition words that you can think of on top of your head, and do not use Google?
No, my teachers make us do transition words in our paragraphs.
I hate those.
But we use them all the time. We technically talk in transition words.
To begin with.
There you go. So okay.
I just type a bunch in the chat, please.
All right, so I'm gonna write them down right now. Also, so I'm hearing. Let me move the chat. Ooh, you guys are blowing it up. Okay, hang on. So to begin with, finally, that's more of a conclusion sentence, right? For instance, for example. Yes, I'm reading it as I would say it in writing. For example. In conclusion, I'm seeing a lot with no cap, all the caps. Okay, for instance, for example, last but not least, I'm seeing a lot of conclusive ones.
How dare you adding how dare you add the comma after last? It's not supposed to be like that.
Let me reiterate how I would say it. Last but not least, comma.
I thought it was
so
last.
That's how you would. Well, because if you say last but not least, it sounds like I'm saying it like a run-on. So it depends on the context. So I'm used to saying it last but not least. So okay. So I'm seeing a lot of how you would use it for examples. I'm seeing a lot of conclusions. And an addition to begin with. After that, speaking of
blank, like
speaking of work, comma, or okay. Second, okay, we got one where we're gonna list. Okay, how many of you like to say and after a sentence? I like to go to I'm gonna make this up. I like to go to the store, and I also like to go get coffee, and I also like to go on long walks. And so how would I be able to change the word so that's so many ands? Like what other transition words can I use instead of saying and all the time?
To continue?
Continue or to continue?
In fact.
Ooh, in fact.
That's not my idea. It's been
that was Vincent.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not pleased, right? Oh yeah.
All right.
Today,
you know another way you can say in addition?
Additionally.
There you go. Good job.
Oh yeah. Today we wrote an essay and we copy and pasted the essay to like a plagiarization like a website thingy, and it checks like the stuff that like.
Oh, I know that. That's literally used in every university, and that's how they check if you really wrote it from Google or from a book, or if you really wrote it by. They actually will check that. That's how, like, if you turn in your essays online, they'll actually see like how much of it percent-wise is from the internet or from a book. Like, they do check for that. So sometimes it's like you have to switch all the words around. Let's see. In addition, continue, in fact. Also, there's another one I would say. I can't remember it on the tip of my tongue. Ooh, during, never. What is more? Oh, furthermore. This one's a very fancy one. This one's like the pinkies up way to say things. And furthermore, I also like to go and nap.
Oh yeah, our teacher told us like something called connectives, like therefore, however, like all those stuff.
Okay, so you're using things to.
Wait, is whereas one of them?
Which one?
Whereas.
Yes. You're using it to illustrate a point. So let me use that. Let me use this. Okay, I got a sentence. In the summer, the sun sets very, very late in the day, whereas in the winter, it sets very early in the day. So you see how I just use whereas, like I'm using it to contrast. So this is more of a contrast point of view. Like I'm using it to compare and contrast something that I'm trying to talk about. Ooh, nice job, Vincent. Let's see. Have you guys ever used, since this is to contrast or compare, have you guys ever said likewise? Like, I feel like I'm wearing a monocle and saying, and likewise. So this one's used mostly to compare something. So more often than not, I say likewise when someone tells me, have a good day. So instead of saying you too, I'll say likewise. So I'm trying to tell you to have a good day, but without all the extra words. Okay. You guys actually know your transition words pretty well. Okay. Speaking of second. Okay. So I'm going to have a challenge here. Do you think we can use some of these transition words in our story?
No, I don't think
we're gonna not all of them. Not all of them are gonna work.
It sounds more like steps, like instead of like just a story. So I don't really know how to incorporate them.
We'll find a way. So let's see how we can use transition words in terms of spelling and punctuation. Setting, problem or conflict, and I'll break it down, but I'm just going through the sections. Resolution, solution, resolution, like if you had a problem, like was this problem fixed? Creativity, your creativity, is your story pretty much original? Was it fun? Did you make it up? Do you have characters with names? That's also important in a story. And then lastly, I will grade you if you have a title. So here's how I'm grading you. So to get full points on this spelling punctuation, make sure that there are no errors, nothing, zip, nada. So you're gonna need to do that. Number 2, to get full points on setting, you're gonna need to use a lot of descriptive words to tell where the story is taking place. I see a lot of you are describing places and telling me names of places, and that's great. So I see some of you are on your way to getting that 4. Problem or conflict. So by this is when we were initially starting with the like the organizer, we were trying to identify what the problem will be for the character and if it makes sense. So there are no loose ends. So if the problem is I lost something, well, is it obvious in the story as I'm reading it that they lost it? That would be like the conflict of it. I'm grading you on your creativity. Are there a lot of details that makes it enjoyable? and that you yourself, the author, use your imagination to make this happen. I see a lot of great ideas that are written so far. So far I'm enjoying reading most of your stories. So I see a 4 there for some of you. Characters, do they have names? Can you describe them? Can I make sense of who are you? When I read this, it's like, who is this character and why they do that? Oh yes, your problem and your resolution are probably gonna go hand in hand. So that's why, like, if I say I lost something, will I find it? Or so-and-so has a problem with another character, and in the end, will it be solved? And lastly, try to have a creative title. So for this one, it's either going to be the title or no title. As we agreed last week, right? We agreed last week that this will be due on December 17th. I did give people lots of notes. If I see you ask, if I was asking a lot of questions in the notes, it's because I'm not trying to influence your story. I want this to be your own work, and it's just me kind of prodding you to see what you want to add or change. So if you saw me asking questions, it's not because I think there's something wrong. It's more like, what do you think of this? Or what are you trying to tell me? I'm not trying to tell you to change anything. And can you self-edit your work, which is using this rubric. So, okay, how about I give you guys 5 minutes right now to look over those notes if you'd like. If I don't have any previous work from you, let me know and I can make some edits right now if you need me to. But otherwise, right now, give yourselves 5 minutes to look over some of those notes and ask me questions, please.